I woke up to people asking me how I felt about Donald Trump refusing to do stimulus until after he wins the election. So let's talk about it. What's up, everybody? Ty Rivera here, the absolute best LGBTQ comedian in the world. It is Wednesday, so welcome to Unbothered, Botherinas. If you're not familiar with Unbothered, this is my podcast where I basically talk about things that bother me until they don't bother me anymore. So this is almost like my own little therapy session, and tonight it will be like a little therapy session. Maybe a little bit more than a little therapy session, but it's going to be a therapy session. Before we get started, please, as always, make sure you like the video, comment when I get on your nerves, and subscribe so you know the next time I'll be getting on your nerves. So like I was saying, people have been asking me how I feel about Donald Trump refusing to work on the stimulus or issue stimulus until after he wins the election. And I gotta tell you guys, I feel like two things are going on, and it definitely does get on my nerves. It's not like I don't pay attention. It's not like I don't care. But at the same time, I can only care so much when it comes to this particular topic, because when somebody decides they're not going to do something for you, even if that's our government, then they're just not going to do it, and there's nothing we can do to make them do it for us. So as far as that goes, it's unfortunate that we're left in this position, but this is a position we're in, so we might as well make the best of it, is the way I feel. Donald Trump is waiting until after the election, and I kind of don't blame him, because if I'm being completely fair about it and completely just doling it out on both sides, what I would say is I'm disappointed that the people that have been appointed to represent us can't work harder to come to some sort of agreement when it comes to things that directly do affect us, things that could possibly hurt us. That's something that really does bother me. When you claim to be the smartest, the brightest, and that's basically what our politicians are supposed to be. They're supposed to be the best of us. They're supposed to represent all of us. And instead of doing that, they're caught up in trying to make the president look bad, which I know not everybody agrees with the president. I personally agree with a lot of what Donald Trump does, so I'm not going to pretend that I don't like him or I'm not on his side. I am on his side in a lot of cases, and I think ever since he got elected, because the Democrats were so dead set against having him be our president, they never fully worked with him. And you could say that the Republicans did the same to Obama, but at what point do we stop doing tit for tat and just say, okay, I don't care what happened in the past, you guys. I need you to figure it out, because right now we're going through a pandemic, which is supposed to be the most important thing in the world, right? And I always bring up the most important thing in the world, because that's what people always make these things seem like it's the most important thing in the world. It's the thing we're supposed to really care about. And then people don't treat it that way, including our politicians. If this is so important that I'm expected to stay home for a couple months or have stayed home for a couple months, and now you're not opening things up in a way that lets me be able to get back on the road the way that I'm supposed to, then I feel like it is on you to make sure that I'm taken care of. Because had you not stepped in the way, I had plenty of work lined up. I was supposed to record an album in April. So for me, this has been a huge inconvenience, and I'm being asked to stay home because the unhealthy haven't taken care of themselves up until this point. It's just true. If you look at the high risk groups, yeah, there's the seniors, and that's not their fault. They just were going to get old. But at the same time, I feel like this is God's way of shaving down what we don't need anymore. And yeah, that may sound especially cruel. My parents are both in the age range, 70 and 80. So they're in the age range that they could get clipped. And I love my parents more than anybody else in the whole wide world. But at the same time, deuces, if it's time to go, it's time to go. And that's the way they feel about it too. It's what it is. You get to a certain age and it's time to go. At some point, it's going to be time for me to go. I don't sweat that kind of stuff. So really, yeah, I get what you're saying about Donald Trump, blah, 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 and Republicans should still work with blah, 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 the Democrats, blah, 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 a lot of blah, 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 blah from me. And it's just because at the end of the day, we have to take care of ourselves. And that's what this pandemic should really have taught us so far, is that we really do have to take care of ourselves. So if you've noticed, I've been recording a lot more content. I've been posting a lot more content. I've been working on my YouTube. I've been working on my different streams of income, because for right now, I can't be on the road the way that I usually would. And so I just look at it as we just have to adjust and take care of ourselves, because if the government's not going to do it, then they're not going to do it. So that's where we just have to start coming up with new skills, teaching ourselves new skills, if that's what it takes. I have some friends that I see on social media that are complaining and like, I don't know what I'm going to do. Well, if you have that attitude, then you're probably going to go stagnant and either die or just have to get a regular job. So that's on you at that point. And I'm not trying to be mean to any of my friends, but it's just something I've seen quite a bit. And I've been like, are you not going to make any effort at all? Like, how about you just try something? How about you start shooting content or doing Zoom shows? Or there's so many different ways that I've seen other friends really just stepping out of the box and figuring it out. I've talked about my friends that have done OnlyFans, and to me, that's legit. If that's what you decide to do at this time, then do that. It's better than sitting around wondering who's going to take care of you. Maybe you need to take care of you. Maybe that needs to be the most important thing in your mind, is what am I going to do for me? Instead of wondering what Donald Trump or Nancy Pelosi or anybody else is going to do for you. When it comes to the stimulus package, I know Donald Trump was upset because Nancy Pelosi wanted a certain amount of money for Democrat states that are being mismanaged right now. And I have to say, I agree that they are being mismanaged. When you have millionaires, multimillionaires leaving California because of what's going on there and the way that they're not being allowed to make money and what they're being taxed, at some point you have to look at it and be like, okay, why would these people be choosing to leave a state where they're fully set up? And I have a lot of friends in LA still, and they tell me that it gets worse and worse all the time, just as far as the homeless, which that was a problem before the pandemic, but now it's really highlighted a lot of the problems that were already there. So I can't say that I blame people for leaving California, and I can't say that I blame Donald Trump for feeling like they're being mismanaged. So as far as all that goes, I'm just going to say my advice is for you to take care of yourself. Do what you have to do to take care of yourself financially, take care of what you have to do for yourself mentally, take care of what you have to do for your family. Just try some new stuff, throw some stuff against the wall and see what sticks. That would be my best advice. This has been Ty Rivera, the absolute best LGBTQ comedian in the world.